Hey everybody, I am Brian and welcome back to Epicenter Garage. Today is it's a pretty exciting day for me anyway, because I get to show you guys a new to me car that I have lusted after for I think probably since I was about 12 years old. But first, as normal, I've always got parts coming in, and all the parts I have here, a majority of them are for this car, which I cannot wait to show you. I know I've showed you in the past some things we're doing with some wheel fans, some other parts coming in, and so finally probably the third round of parts have come in as I've started kind of going through the car. Little things come up, and I've been ordering parts here and there. But that being said, which is kind of exciting, it's that time of year for me again. I know I always show you guys paperwork, which is boring, but I use Haggerty. I finally got all of my Haggerty cards in, which is a chore that I'm going to give to my son to go around and put these in the glove box of all the cars. I wish they would do this like every 3 years, because every year it gets a little old. I know like State Farm insurance, every 6 months I get a card, which is ridiculous. So now, this is, like I said, this is a car that I've wanted forever, ever. And like I said, I've got some parts in here, and well, I got to show you. It's right over there. It's a 1987 BMW M6. It's a Euro version. Oh my gosh, you guys! That car. I don't know what it is about that car. It just does it for me. The front, the back. There's just not a bad angle on that car. And driving it's absolutely glorious. But just like any car, you know, the funny thing is, I was thinking the other day. I actually had this car up on the lift, and you guys out there buy cars, and especially nowadays, you buy a car based on the pictures, and you get a car in, and normally you get a car in and you're so excited it comes off the truck, or you go and get it, and you're driving it back, or you finally get it home, and you really start to crawl through the car. Most of the time, at least in my situation, you're kind of like, ooh, I didn't see that. I didn't notice that. This is actually better, a little bit better, but in general, you kind of go through that excitement, then that downturn after about having it a day, and then you finally you start to mesh with the car, and then your excitement or your love of the car, I guess you'd say, in my case, I love all my cars, of course, it starts to increase. And very rarely do you get a car in that totally exceeds your expectations. Well, my friends, this car did that for me, and that is really rare. Came up the truck, I fell in love with it, pulling it out of the truck. Now, this is a car I did not go and pick up. I actually bought it based on the pictures and what the previous or the seller told me about the car. But when it came off the truck, I was just floored. Then I got in the car, and I haven't reached that. Now I might, but I haven't reached that dip where I'm kind of like, man, the guy didn't tell me about this or that. It hasn't happened yet, which keep my fingers crossed. But just like I've told you before, what I like to do when I get a car like this is I like to go through the whole car, change the fluids, change the brakes, not change the brakes, but change all the fluids in the car. In the M6, it had an aftermarket shift knob, and so I wanted to get one is not quite the original stuff, I don't want to say, it's close enough. It kind of has that original look, because I've looked at so many pictures online. And then again, the shifter is a little bit loosey-goosey, and so I got all the bushings in the shifter need to be replaced, but that's mechanical stuff. That's easy to do. And of course, like I said, fuel filter. And then I did get when I was going through the bottom of the car, kind of looking over the overall condition, I noticed that some of the suspension components, a few things were worn out. It didn't drive bad. It drives like a brand new car. But there's a couple things I'm like, you know what? Pretty inexpensive, $100 per corner, and I'm good to go, just peace of mind. And then I changed the fluids and all that. So as parts start to trickle in, I've got to put it back up on the lift. But what I told you about before, this is going to be a project car. Well, let's just go take a look at it, and I'll take you around it, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do to it. So here it is, my 1987 BMW M6 Euro. Now, you guys have heard me talking about this car being a project car. This is going to be my project car. And when I say that, it's probably in the wrong context. It's not a project car. I mean, it's not a destitute car. It doesn't have rust all over it. It doesn't need all kinds of work. Thank goodness. What I want to do is I want to tell you about the things I'm going to do to this car, in my mind, turn it into my project. Now, you guys have heard me talk about wheel fans, and wheel fans particularly for these BBS wheels. Well, this is the car that is going to get not only a host of other things, but of course, wheel fans, and I've got them right over here. here are the wheel fans. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys like I did in the last episode. I know it got kind of long, but this is the car that I've been working on, the adapters for these original wheel fans. Now, these original wheel fans were off of a Porsche, either a Porsche 956 or a 962, but I made adapters so I can actually run on these BBS wheels, and we're going to throw them on real quick in a second, but I also did stickers up, and they are gold, and I think I've showed you these before, but let me show you. Those will go on the face, but I messed up. I did not, when I did the layout of these stickers, I messed up, so they're not perfectly concentric, and they don't fit on here like they need to fit on, but that's okay. But I gotta throw these on real quick so you guys can see what these are gonna look like. Line the valve stem up, bang, just like so. There you go. One thing we are going to do as well is we're going to lower, that's the problem. This car, when I first got it, it drives beautiful. Like I said before, nice, kind of floaty ride. It's a little bit sporty. But I've got all new shocks coming in, as well as we are going to lower this car with some HR springs that are going to lower it. I want to say it's about 1 3/4 inch in the rear and about 1 1/4 in the front, which will make it just sit perfect. Now, I could do this job myself, and I've got a spring compressor, but it's in pretty ratty shape, and it's always a little scary to do that. And the older I get, the more I start to realize, send it to somebody that knows what the heck they're doing much better than I, which is not too hard to do. So this car is going up to the Ninja, the car Ninja. So he's gonna go through the car. I'm gonna take you around a little bit and show you other things that I'm gonna have him do to this car, but I at least wanted to take care of the wheel fans. I'm redoing the stickers, so the wheel fans are gonna go on. And when this car is lowered down, probably just have this fender just right over the edge of the wheel, or the tire, I should say. Oh. The next thing we're gonna do, see the exhaust right here? Which is kind of a trademark of BMWs, especially M6s, 2 big pipes out the back. This is going. Boom, I'm ripping it off the car. It is gone because, oh, the other thing, I did finally get my vintage or my antique plate in. Since this is a Euro car, it didn't fit very well, and I tried to come out with spacers and stuff like that, but it just got ugly. So I know you're not supposed to modify plates, but yeah, I figured a little bend in the plate. What's that gonna hurt, right? So this is where the new exhaust system I'm gonna fabricate will exit. Right here, 2 big white pipes. It's gonna be straight pipe. So coming right off of the engine, right off the headers, the Euro, this does have Euro headers on it, coming right back. The cool thing is that it has 2 pipes that come out right here, roughly right here. And I'm just gonna branch right off of that, put a little collector pipe in there just to get that resonance just right, and they're gonna dump right out here. I am really, really excited. But enough about exhaust, let me show you the engine. The BMW M power plants, all of them in general, except, not so much the newer cars, but the older cars in this era, they're one of the most beautiful engines, I think, one of the most beautiful ever built. Just the intake runners, the individual throttle bodies, and the way these straight sixes sound. Oh my gosh, this car I want to say it really starts to sing at about 5,500 to 7,000 RPM. It is absolutely, it is awesome. And when I run straight pipes out, now, granted, I'm running them out the passenger side, so they're straight pipes, so I'm still going to be able to hear them from the driver's side, but it is just going to just wail. Now, this is what's considered the M88 power plant, which was only, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as the information I have, the M88, it had more horsepower than the US version. The US version had roughly, I want to say 256 horsepower, give or take a couple there, I think, 255. Whereas the European version, which is the M88 motor engine, had roughly right around 280, 286. It kind of sticks in my mind. Different exhaust, things like that. This car would probably, I would say it's probably close to maybe 290. It's been extremely well maintained. Now, this car does have a lot of miles on it. I think it's right around 160,000 kilometers, which is, not too bad, but it's up there, but it's been maintained really, really well, that's primarily what I care about, because I'm going to rack a lot of miles on this car. And this one does have aftermarket strut tower bar, so that is not stock. And there's a few other little things that are not stock. Obviously the wheels, things like that. But overall, it's pretty much a stock European M6. But let me show you the interior, because that's one of the best parts in this car as well. Well, the engine, of course, but I almost forgot. I'm also going to fabricate a front splitter. So we're going to use some 1/4-inch ABS plastic, and I'm going to have it jut out the front. You can see right here, the nice part is that it has very nice flat all the way around the front of this car. I'm going to fabricate a splitter. It's going to stick out probably about 1/2 inch or 12 millimeters all the way around the front, just to kind of help protect the lip. But it's also, I think it's going to look fantastic. So sorry about that, but let's get on to the interior. Well, now that I'm in the M6, I look at the odometer, and it's actually 170,000 kilometers, which is tick over 100,000 miles, 105,000 miles on it, right around there. Now, when I bought it, I'm pretty sure it had about a little over 160,000 kilometers. So I've racked on quite a few miles already, even though I've got a lot of modifications or plans for this car. I could not help myself. And so when I first got it, oh man, I hit the road like nothing else. And I was driving all over the place and absolutely fell in love with this car. But the neat thing, what I really like about this car is that it has black interior. And man, as I even look at this dash, a lot of these dashes, especially like M5s, they would crack or have all kinds of issues, or they would warp. And this one is just, this one is just in really, really nice shape, but it's a black interior. And so I don't even think any US cars, I could be wrong on this, so let me know. I don't think any US cars actually had black interior. Most of them were like that, the light or the white, I'll call it white interior or a tan interior. But black to me, and those were more of a luxurious looking interior. No, they're still cool. I love white interior on cars, but black just, it does it for me. As far as ergonomics and things that are in the interior, I think they're pretty much the same. I know the gear shift was a little bit different. A few little things, obviously the gauges are different in kilometers and not in miles, but obviously the engine is different, more horsepower in this car. Now I do have a 928, 1986 and a half manual 928 red black interior, and we're going to do a comparison later on because these two cars, I don't want to say they drive similar, but they kind of have the same purpose, kind of long distance, high speed GT cars. But I'm going to take you around the back and show you a little bit about the back. All right, one of the things I love to do, my wife thinks I'm crazy, but any car we go look at, especially a GT car, I love to get in the back seat. Now I'm about 6'2", 6'3", well, I'm shrinking as I get older, so I'm actually probably about 6'2" now. I love to get in the back. Oh my gosh, this feels good. I have not gotten the back seat of this car yet. These seats are they're like bucket seats, and they just feel so good. Oh, hold on, I got to shut the door and see if my knee fits. Hold on. All right. Oh my gosh. Honestly, I think I could ride all the way to Colorado on a ski trip in the back of this car. A little handle here. I haven't even explored back here that much. I've been too busy driving it. Little cigarette tray. Oh, here we go. Oh, I could do this for at least 10 hours in the back. No, not nonstop, obviously, but this is very, very comfortable. Oh, I didn't even know that. Check that out. The rear windows drop. Now that is awesome. I had no clue. They don't go all the way down, but that's pretty stinking sweet. See if all the lights work. Sure enough. I fit pretty good back here. I could go for a nice long drive, and I don't even think I have the seat all the way up. I could do this, no doubt, no doubt. Now I know that was kind of a quick run through of the M6. And you guys probably aren't as excited as I am, but I am super pumped about getting this car done, especially the exhaust. The exhaust needs to be much louder, and of course, it needs to be lowered, all the wheel fins on, the graphics on the wheel fins. But the first thing I need to get done is to get this car up to Johnny, the car ninja, so he can actually put on the new shocks, the new lowering springs. And a little birdie told me that I think you guys are going to see this car on Johnny, the car ninja's channel very soon. But once again, you guys, I really appreciate all the subscribing, all of the comments. This is a brand new channel. I'm not that good at YouTube, so I'm learning as I go. I promise I'm gonna try to make better and better videos and more content and actually have these cars out running and driving so you can hear what they sound like. But for right now, that 930 turbo over there is, man, it is, I gotta get that thing done. So I've got probably about 2 hours to work on it, little time spot here, so I need to get going on. I gotta split the transmission and the engine, so I gotta go. In that car, it had an aftermarket knob. All right, here we go.